In a recent video, I shared with you some of the problems you might run into when working on the front suspension of a W126 that's been subject to road salt, and particularly replacing this brake rod control joint. I talked about the problems with the long bolt that goes up into this casting that has to be removed. There's 4 of these long bolts, and you saw what happens when they get rusty and the nut plate just disintegrates. I also mentioned that video that I was trying to source new bolts because none of the kits come with these long bolts. The kit we sell plus other kits available, they don't provide long bolt replacements, only the small bolts, and this is the one that usually rusts out. This is the bolt you really need if you have a rusty car. So I did some research and I found out why. This is a very special bolt. I don't even think I can find an exact replacement, but I can find a replacement that will work, but it's going to require some modification on your part if you're going to use it. Once again, before you order this kit from us, jack your car up and take a good look at this whole area right in and make sure there's not a lot of rust there. If there is, I'd go ahead and order these 4 bolts as an extra part. I forgot to mention, if you've not seen that previous video, I'll put a link in the description below. You should watch that because it's going to give you the background on what I'm talking about. This is the bolt that comes out. It's got this big washer, and the big washer slides up and down on the shoulder of the bolt, but you can't get it off. Now you could probably force it off. You know, I did this. I got it in a vise and you could try to screw it out, but it's not easy. So this is designed, I think, so that the washer never gets lost and always gets replaced when somebody replaces that aluminum casting on the subframe. So if you look closely, you can see that the shoulder is slightly smaller than the threads, okay? And that allows this washer to slide up and down and not come off. This is the comparable bolt. Exact same length, exact same thread, but notice the shoulder is slightly larger. So if I'm going to reuse the washer, then I've got to be able to get the washer off this old rusty bolt and modify it slightly, which means drilling it out to a larger size so I can get the washer on the new bolt, which I'm going to use as a replacement. So let me briefly explain how you do this. It's not as hard as it looks. What you want to do is put it in a vise, not difficult, got a hacksaw, and hacksaw through it. It's a fairly soft bolt. You won't have a hard time hacksawing through it. Once you hacksaw through it, then you can get the washer off. But the washer will not fit on the new bolt unless you drill it out. So we put this in the vise using a 15-30 seconds drill. You can use a half, but it's going to be sloppy. 15-30 seconds is just the right size. So I drilled this out, and now you can see I can take the new bolt and slide it on, and it fits very tight. So I'm ready to install this. This will go in without a problem. There's no interference problem here. The only problem is you've got a shoulder that allows this to slide up and down and you can't get it off. So if you get the new bolt kit from us, remember, I'll provide 4 bolts as an extra to our kit. Okay, if you don't need them, if your car's not rusty, you probably don't need them. And when you get these, you will have to go through this modification process because you have to reuse these larger washers. So give your car a very good inspection before ordering our kit.